Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So first off, I just wanted to report to you guys, we did hear back from the State Board of EMS as far as the investigation with Cheyenne County. They did in fact find that the 87 violations were true violations. However, they were sufficient with the stuff that we had submitted, and so they're going to take no further action against the service. So I just want to...
Did they give you an idea of what the worst case scenario would have been?
Yes, it was about $2,500 per violation, which would have been over $200,000. Wow. So, that.
And I think these guys deserve a lot of appreciation and thanks for getting that turned around and what was presented to the board. Because without what they have done, it, like Ryan's saying, it could have been bad. But they stepped up, they got it working, the coverage is there. And thus far, there have been no violations.
Well, they must have been impressed with not only your plan of action, but your implementation of it also. So
They will be sending a formal letter, which may come to the clerk's office, but
Okay.
that was via email, is what I got after their meeting.
well, thank you for that information.
No problem.
That's good.
I talked to Tabitha, and our Medicare hold has been lifted. So they have all the paperwork in place and everything ready there. So billing, as far as Medicare, has started going out. Jill and Tabitha, I know, have worked many months on getting everything put in, and so now everything's going through. So we'll start seeing that come through now. So, that being said, I brought Jill and also Grant, because they're the ones that kind of use this equipment, so if you guys have questions, but Jill talked a little bit more about this, but we found out that our Zoll monitors, that we've been discussing, that some of them are going to need replaced. The FDA is actually going to require that in 2020.
So we're up against the
Correct.
time limit.
By 2020, you mean starting the year, or is there a certain...
So I'll let
date?
Jill kind of address that.
Our representative from Zoll had got a hold of us in September and said that the FDA is going to be stopping the production, use, everything, batteries, cables, service, everything for some of the monitors. And it's not just Zoll, it's throughout different brands and types, but 3 of our monitors that we have, the one in 7B, the one in 11A and 11B are all Zoll M series, and they will all be a part of this. So Grant has come up with talking to our Zoll representative, Lori, about getting some quotes. She has provided us with a quote for a new X-Series monitor. That's what we have in 7A right now. It has the 12-lead capabilities and other things like that. The monitors that we have and the other ones, the M-Series, they only have 3-lead. They're very basic and very outdated too. We also had discussed about perhaps with your approval applying for one of the CRAFT grants. It's through the State Board of EMS, and it has a 25% matching, but for monitors, the Kansas Board of EMS will only pay up to $20,000. So we have the quotes for those also, and it looks like for the CRAFT grant, we'll end up, I think the total for that was a little over $30,000. So we would be responsible for about $10,266 of that if we would apply for the grant, and they would be responsible for $20,000 of that if we would decide to go in that direction. I know that quite a few years back we received the Philips monitor through the CRAFT grant, and we are getting that monitor up and going also. So we're hoping that we'll have, by February of 2021, when this comes into play, that all of our monitors will be, up to date and be able to be used on all of our ambulances.
The other one.
Yeah, I see they've given you a February 3rd, 2021 deadline. that they will no longer service dated equipment.
The other quote we're passing out is for the purchase of an X-Series monitor, same thing. Through the craft grant, they have to kind of, I guess, price things just a little bit differently. I don't know, Grant has probably a better idea since she's...
So this, the one I just passed out is going to be, it has a $2,000 return on one of our M series. And then Lori was able to give us a couple more discounts through there. So we have actually got it down to $28,000. And you'll see that $2,000 discount with that M series trade-in.
I think the main thing is about our monitors. They're the most used thing we have on our ambulances, besides the ambulance itself. We use it on every single run. I mean, it gives us, a real good picture and snapshot of what is going on with the patient, and they're very vital to our every
This
run.
craft grant we've received in the past, and it's through the State Board of EMS, correct?
Yep.
So really, all we need to is make the application and see where we're at when they make their determination of who's awarded the grants and who isn't.
Okay. So to kind of go through the plan of, basically our need currently is 3. We have 1 on 7A. The other 3 will be subject to this. So the one grant, or the one quote that Grant passed out, the $28,000 one, that is if we trade in one now with the other discounts and we go ahead and buy one now. That would get 11A current. The craft grant will be applying for 1. That's the higher quote, just because that'll be down the road. We don't know where we'll be at there. But what Jill's asking for is basically your approval to go ahead with the craft grant, because if we get it, it will require a $10,000 match.
And Zoll is also letting us trade in one on the craft grant, but the discount for the trade-in comes in after the grant. So that it will be the $30,000, but then we'll have it take off right afterwards.
So really, all you're looking for, looking forward today is the approval to pursue the craft grant, right?
That's 1.
That's 1, okay. I knew this was going to be more. I mean, you don't get 3 at a time here unless they want something big.
Yes.
But, yeah. Any discussion about the grant application? So I think, let's go ahead and...
Can we get a motion to?
I think we should.
I'll make a motion that you do for the grant. Not this grant.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Okay.
Okay. So for the other one, I just wanted, here's our current, that's as of the end of November. So kind of our plan here. We did budget in 2020 for the purchase of one of those. So we will be purchasing one of those next year as well, to cover one of the 3. The craft grant will cover 2 of the 3, or the second one of the 3. So then we're looking at currently, we're coming in under budget. Part of this was we were trying to really watch our P's and Q's because we didn't know what was going to happen with the state. So currently we have $64,000 left over from personnel, and we still have $29,000 in contractual. We will still be using some of that by the end of the year, obviously. I know Jill is ordering some replacement medications and stuff by the end of the year. So we will be spending a little bit of that, but we are going to have enough money to go ahead to trade in one of the monitors now to get the lower price.
Well, while you have the opportunity, it sounds to me like you need to take advantage of it.
But in order to do so, they have to make a request of the commissioners to move amounts
Correct.
within the budget
Yeah.
so that it can be accomplished.
Well, and I guess that's my question. If we're staying within the budget and we're just taking money from line item, do we actually have to do a formal transfer?
I think just to be on the safe side, yes.
You'll need to fill out one for transfer sheets.
Right.
Okay.
But I would go ahead and get approval.
To go ahead and get it ordered.
Right, because this is going against the published budget. So this way, if anyone goes back and looks to see what happened, it's a matter of minutes.
Do we move it to capital outlay? Commodities.
Commodities.
Move it from contractual to commodities? Yes.
Yeah, we pull from commodities and personnel and put it into commodities.
So do you want 10,000 from one, 20 from the other, or how do you want to break that up?
Yeah, I think that's probably how we would do that.
Okay, repeat what you said.
10,000 from the
Contractual.
commodities and 20 from the contractual? Or
Personnel.
or do you want to?
10
flip
from
that?
contractual, 20 from personnel into commodities.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong line, aren't I?
You said 20 from personnel?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right.
So you're looking for $30,000 total to transfer,
The quote is 28,
28, whatever.
but
yeah.
that way we'll,
Right.
and I'll bring the transfer in on the 31st to square that all away once we get it ordered. Basically, I know the money's there. We'll figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
I just need approval since it's a significant purchase. Like Jill mentioned, this is literally like the heartbeat of the ambulance.
So this one here, we will not get a grant for or anything, we're just buying it outright.
Right. And we're hoping that we'll get the grant next, or for the other one. Worst case scenario, we do have money in equipment reserve if we have to do that. So.
I move that we transfer 20,000 from contractual, 10,000 from, no, 20,000 from personnel, and then 10,000 from contractual to commodities, right?
I'll second the motion.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to transfer 20,000 from personnel, 10,000 from contractual to the commodities, so the purchase of the Zoll monitor can be made. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Probably on a
When you gonna do
And then a
that?
motion to
motion
purchase.
to actually
Right, right.
purchase it. That was a transfer, you need one from purchase.
Makes sense.
So will it be for 29,447? Here's a 20.
28,267.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna get the 2,000 rebate on this one?
Yep.
Yeah.
So then I'll make a motion that we purchase the monitor from Zoll at 28,267.25.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you very much.
Looks difficult when you sit down here.
My last question is on a transfers for end of the year. Since we are within the general fund, do I have to bring those in separately?
No.
Because those will not, or do they fall under the blanket transfer?
Well, in regards to this transfer, yes, because this is a within-budget transfer.
Right.
But when it comes to end-of-the-year capital improvement transfers, that is supposed to be, it's a blanket resolution for general. That whatever you have budgeted for equipment reserve be transferred per that resolution. And we've set up a new policy, because that wasn't getting to the auditors.
Correct.
We've set up a new policy that once that resolution is done, not only does it go to the treasurer, but Scott will be emailing it to the auditors also, so that it is done in a more timely fashion.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yes. Do we still have the option, if we're significantly under budget in other areas, to transfer that as well, with a separate transfer?
That'll take a
That takes approval of the commissioners.
Right.
commissioners.
With a
If
separate
it's-
transfer.
And the auditors.
Right, the auditors would have to approve that too, because everything is subject to budget authority.
Right.
And so, another thing too is if it's not budgeted for, then a lot of times they are reluctant to go ahead and allow different departments to come in and say, hey, here's what I've got left in my budget, I want to transfer it, because nothing goes back to general. Like the main courthouse general, in
Correct.
case there is a big expense that comes up.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Just one question, you said you were gonna buy some drugs. Did Dr. Lick come up with a plan for you?
Yep.
She has. There are a lot of things that we have stocked that are.
You're not gonna stock anymore?
No, not in the capacity that we have been. There's medications that we have bought for 9 years that we've never used, and they're expensive. There are a lot of them that we can scale down what we're using, and we can also scale down the amount that we're purchasing to start with.
And still provide good service?
Yes, absolutely. It's just-
Great.
And what happens to all those drugs, the other ones?
Well, the class 2 narcotics have to be wasted according to them.
Sell
usually
them
sent
in
back in.
Colfax?
The other ones,
You want that job?
we'll put Roger in charge of getting rid of them.
You're going to become another statistic for that.
But yeah, the rest of them, most of them are about ready to expire. And so, we have to waste them accordingly too. We had thought that we could actually send them back in through MedFlats and get some sort of a discount, but if they are expired drugs, they usually,
And do you have to send them to a certain organization to dispose of them?
the ones that are not a class 2 narcotic, we can do ourselves. We can set up a bucket of sand, but we have to have 2 people, and all the drug counting and everything we do in the back room, so it's video, and so there's no question about what we're doing and what we have. But we have a tremendous amount that has been stockpiled for a while. That has
Have you been able
expired.
to project the savings?
Yeah, well, it's going to be considerable. I mean, instead of buying, 20 of something, when I look at what we've used